What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My mic came in today, so hopefully my audio is a little bit better. And I'm gonna keep getting things, try to make the channel a little bit better. I'm gonna try to get a good camera and things like that if I can actually start recording. And so hopefully the content will get better and better. But I appreciate you guys watching. And I wanted to talk about some of the trades that I took this week and basically why I took them and some of the outcomes of them. And so I'm gonna go here to my data. As you can see, we took 3 trades this week. Now, these are only the trades I took using my modified silver bullet hour strategy. Of course, I take trades outside of that, like with impulse and things like that. And those trades be losses and wins, but I don't really put them in the spreadsheet. I keep this data separate from my the different types of strategies I use. But this is just for the strategy. I call this one my bread and butter strategy, because basically when I usually come to this strategy and I rely on this, results usually be pretty well. And so that does leave me a little leniency for me to develop some of those bad habits where I'm taking those impulse trades. Like NAS opens up strong, I might just buy based off momentum, which can be good or bad. But I don't really mark those trades into this spreadsheet. And so we'll look at the first trade I took on Tuesday. It's at 9:38. So let me pull up the chart. Go back to Tuesday. So as I set up trades like I do every time we trade in the New York session now, is I mark my buy side liquidity and my sell side liquidity basically from the 8 a.m. high from the start of the day, and then of course from the 8 a.m. low starting from the start of the day till 8 a.m. So I'll mark this right here. This is my 8 a.m. high, of course. This is the highest point it was. And then we got a sell side down here. And so the main thing that I'm looking for would be one of these sides taken, whether it be buy side or sell side liquidity. And then I look for that displacement leg that's going to create a fair value gap. And within that fair value gap is where I take my entries at. Let's see if we can get it. So even though this is a move down right here, I don't really look for these moves because I don't feel that liquidity's been swept and we've traded above just yet. Even though this is a strong move down and it did create a fair value gap. Pushing down. Okay, we got a sharp move up. That still wouldn't be something I consider just yet, simply because I like to see it trade above. And the only reason I would take a move like this is if price structure had to develop around this area to where maybe we have like a slight low here and then we have a shoot up with a very impulsive move down. But if that doesn't occur, then I like to see price really trade above the buy side liquidity. Okay. Now this is similar to what I was talking about here, to where only reason I would trade a wick through would be if it does shoot up. We have like a small low right in this area right here, and then this huge bearish momentum takes out this low, and the biggest fair value gap is close to this top. So this would be an area where I'm looking to enter from. I wouldn't be looking to enter from, let's say a fair value gap is created right here. No, we didn't get one there. But I'll be looking to take the furthest one up because that's the most price has been discounted for us. Now, right around this moment, I start to think that, man, maybe we missed the move. Because we did shoot down right here, slightly broke structure, create a fair value gap, retrace back into it, probably about around a 0.5 pullback, and we start to go down. And I start to think I missed the move. But being patient is definitely what you want to do here. Because if you're waiting on that zone and price starts showing you that is moving in a bearish momentum, then your bias starts to become a little bit more correct. And what you'll want to see is it pull back and give you the best discount rather than you taking a sale here and it not being a discounted version of this entire move. And if price fell right here, then I definitely started thinking I missed the move. But we take our setups. I don't really like to chase it, because once it gets basically in this no man's zone between buy side and sell side liquidity, I don't really like to take trades in this because it could shoot up either way. So I'd rather be patient for it to retrace back to my entry rather than taking a trade in this middle and it can go either way and stop me out. Even if I do take a sell and it does eventually sell, my stop loss would have to be so big that we wouldn't get a proper risk to reward here. And of course, at 9:30 open, we get some strong moves. This one I start to feel a little bit more confident about my entry here, because the thing that I would like to see would be an impulsive move back towards this zone. And as we see a lot of times, those impulsive moves, we get those large rejections when it hits zones, because it's not typically making price action here. This is just a strong impulsive push up. It'd be different if we saw that impulsive, if we saw like a more build up towards my zone here, and that wouldn't be something we was looking for, because if it starts to build up efficiently towards that zone, then that means price is gaining strength. This right here is just a straight impulsive push. So this makes me feel good about this entry that we have up here. And so we wait right there. 9:38 on the dot. We got our tip. We just barely got tapped in. Usually, sometimes I always vary between whether I put it in the middle of the 0.5 and 0.618 or just the 0.5. On this one, I put it at the 0.5, and we just barely got tapped in here before price just basically melted straight to us. I take profit. I think it's like a 4-minute trade for 1 to 7. And I know I posted a video on it when it happened. It was definitely one of my bigger trades. And so that was a nice one to see happen that quickly. As we go through, price did eventually melt basically throughout this entire I'm not sure if it done it the entire session, but I know it goes lower. Yep. So yeah, we caught a 1 to 7 there, and now it was a pretty clean trade. Done for the rest of the day. And now we go over to Wednesday, and I mustn't document. I took a win on Friday because I had got caught up in Thursday's losses. I had a couple losses on Thursday where I was trying to chase the momentum. As you know, NAS had a crazy run Thursday, Friday, and so it had broke buy side liquidity, and I was expecting a fall down at some point, and I was taking sales, but as we know, it just rallied and went crazy. But I did take a huge win on Friday, but it wasn't using the silver bullet hour strategy. It was just I took an impulsive move up as price like shot through structure at 9:30 on the Nasdaq's open, and I was able to catch. I think we caught a 1 to 5, but I'll probably go over it, even though I didn't put it in my data here. But the next trade I want to go over is Wednesdays at 8:55, which was a loss. And my data show me that my entries, if the entries around 9:30, those are the ones that usually win. 9:30 to maybe like 10ish, I usually win those trades. And if I take them earlier than that, pre-market, then I tend to lose. But this setup pretty nice, and so I didn't mind taking it as much, but I definitely shouldn't have been in it. Wednesday, 8 a.m. So I'm marking up my buy side and sell side liquidity at this point. And so my highest point of the day is around this area. Let's see. I marked it higher. Let's see why I marked it higher. So I must have marked it right here. Maybe I woke up a little bit later and decided this was the high point. No, I see why now. I see why I marked it up right here at this high point. Simply because this wick, and it's just the start of 8. I like to get the one around 8 at the highest point. I wouldn't really count this as, like a break above buy side liquidity. So I made buy side liquidity these wicks up here. And of course, sell side liquidity is at the bottom. Then we have this big break right here at 8:30. And so what I'm thinking is we may be able to catch an impulsive move back down as well. And so I'm going to pay attention to see if price actually creates a structure, then has a displacement leg that breaks that structure, creating a fair value gap where we can enter. All right, so what I was seeing when I was watching this is that this move right here broke these lows. And so what I was looking for was a fair value gap to be made, and which we did have one right in this area. And I was looking to enter from there. And so this is probably the candle that hit me in. At 8:55 is where I entered the trade. I got into a short here at this point. And now looking back at it on hindsight, with this huge bearish movement, not to mention that I didn't wait for my usual 9:30ish to 10:30ish entry. Looking at this momentum that we have and the fact that this isn't even a solid break at the bottom right here definitely tells me that I was thinking more so of the possibilities of a big trade rather than the actual structure that was going on and what price was telling me at the time. And so this wasn't a good trade. As you can see, I don't even think we even went into green at all. It just straight stops me out. So we lost 1R right there. But the previous day we had a 7R gain. So we were sitting pretty nice. But of course, in between, I was taking trades outside of this strategy, which I'm still trying to work on and become more, basically more consistent with only taking setups from this strategy. But of course, I often get caught up in some of these moves, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe a double top here, even though that's not really included in my strategy. I may see that it sells things like that, which would cause me to take some losses. But I'm just trying to grow and get better and stick with this one strategy. And so we went through that, and the last one I basically want to look over right here would be our trade on Thursday. Got a 1 to 2 here. We took it at 10. And to be honest, we probably could have hopped into a buy if you know how NAS is moving this couple weeks. But just looking at this strategy, we was able to get into a sale. So let me walk through that one as well. So around Thursday, about around 9 a.m. And so we have our buy side and sell side liquidity marked up from the day low versus the day high so far. And as you can see, we had a wick above. It would have destroyed that liquidity up there. And so we could have possibly hopped in something like this, but we don't really have a displacement leg that breaks structure and creates a fair value gap after it trades above. So I wanted to wait in this area. And plus, not to mention, I had took a trade earlier than my entry time, and it didn't work out for us. So I had that in my mind as well. So I wanted to wait and actually get a trade above at this point. As we come close to this 9:30 opening here, we get that shoot up above. And now all I'm looking for is price to create structure and then break it with that displacement leg, creating a fair value gap where we're able to enter. And as we see this starting to slow down and lose momentum up top, we're coming, let me see, yep, we get the break above, perfect. And so we get a wick above, and so in my mind right now, what I'm thinking is we got that strong shoot above with a very strong bearish move. So I'm thinking this shoot up right here was able to take out this liquidity, give us a strong bearish engulfing that does break structure, and hopefully creates a large fair value gap. And we got a large, not really a large, but a pretty nice size fair value gap here. And so that gives me confidence to really place my entry around that 0.5 to 0.618 area and look for a 1 to 2. And so we got in the trade on the next couple candles at 10 a.m. So I'm pretty sure, let me see, we got in right here. I must have missed that entry. Yep. I think I missed this entry right here. Would have been a nice one. And so I was a little bummed out. I was like, oh man, we probably missed a great trade here. But staying patient did help rather than me entering at the bottom here, getting a horrible entry. I just had my limit orders just there waiting. It tapped us in. And it moved pretty strongly from the beginning. And of course, we always move our stops to break even once we go up 1R. And so we got tagged in right here. And I know I talked about it, how it was just touching my take profit. It didn't really break through it. So my order didn't execute. I had to go in and manually close it. And so by the time I closed it, it had rejected up. And so we only caught like a 1 to like 1.8 something. But it was still a pretty clean trade overall. And I think it does end up diving down. Yeah, it would definitely took us out. We probably could have took a trade. Let's see if it hits these lows down here. Nah, it doesn't look like it does. But yeah, we was able to catch a nice trade there. Quick 1 to 2. And usually what I'm seeing is when we enter, if we're with momentum in the right direction, our take profit gets hit pretty quickly. Usually within 5 to 10 minutes. If it consolidates for a little bit, we're probably going to lose that trade more times than not. And of course, it could just shoot up the opposite way immediately. But that was a nice trade. So basically, that was all the trades I took with my modified silver bullet strategy. And I'll probably post a video sometime next week, actually breaking down every detail of how I trade, how I mark up the buy side and sell side liquidity. And hopefully you guys will find a little more value out of that. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thanks for watching the video.